Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Sobriety for Beginners because I know that I am. I'm just a beginner in all this. Um, got to go to a meeting last night. It was a good meeting. They were talking about acceptance, accepting things. Acceptance is hard. When it's hard to accept things, I can definitely tell you in my experience. When I first started getting sober, it was really hard for me to accept that I was an alcoholic. When I went to rehab, they talk about how you have a disease of the mind and how you are different than the person next to you. And so, of course, once again, I would blame my problems on my disease, and I would not accept that I'm an alcoholic. I can't have that one drink. It was really hard for me to accept that. I had to swallow that pill and I had to accept, the responsibility of it. I remember at one point, this was when me and my sister were not talking because of, something that I did. And my mom was, trying to stick up for me. And she was trying to say, if your sister gives you any heck, let me know, and I'll stick up for you, blah blah blah. And I sent my mom a message back, and I was like, no, don't stick up for me because this is my fault. The reason why she's mad at me is because I did something to her when I was drunk. I relapsed while she was here, and it's my fault. I'm the alcoholic. I'm the one who caused this problem. You don't need to stick up for me anymore. Like, I have accepted the fact that I was the problem. I was the tornado that caused havoc in everybody's life, and I'm accepting that now. And, once you finally take that pill, once you finally swallow that pride and say, yes, I'm an alcoholic, I cannot drink safely, it's such a relief. Because fighting it and going against the grain is more hard work than anything else, really, because you're constantly, it's everybody else's fault, it's everybody else's problem. There's just no accountability. And then once you finally are like, it's one of those situations where if everybody around you is saying, everybody around you is a jerk and everybody around you is being mean. Well, if it's everybody, then really it's probably you that's the jerk and they're all just reacting against you. It's like one of those things, like, you need to be self-reflective and be like, if everybody else is being a jerk to me, it's probably because I'm the jerk and I'm being a jerk to them. It's self-reflection. So acceptance was hard. And the other day, my son is getting ready to go back to school, but my mother-in-law used to pick him up from school for us because he gets out of school at 2:00, and we don't get out of my husband doesn't get out of work till 3:30. I don't get out of work till 4:30. So she would take him to her home and watch him for a couple hours until we can go pick him up. Well, she's retired, and she decided that she doesn't want to be retired anymore. She wants to go back to work, which is great for her. She wants to go back to work and do something with her time, but my husband's not accepting that. And I accepted it, and I said, you know what, if you want to go back to work, then that's great. He's my child, he's my son, he's my responsibility. I will find a way to give him either after school care or get him into like a program or something, or find another way to pick him up from school so that way he's taken care of until we get out of work. Like, he's my responsibility, he's not her responsibility. My husband was not accepting that. And it's funny because you can take somebody else's inventory, you can look at somebody else and be like, you need to accept this, and I'd mentioned last night at the meeting, like, I wish I had an acceptance slap that I could just slap someone with, be like, accept it. This is how it's gonna go, this is how it's gonna work, accept it. And I can just slap you with acceptance. But he's just having a hard time with it. Like, he's just struggling with it because he's not accepting it. And so now he's mad because we have to find other ways of, getting childcare. And, like, that's our responsibility. Like, that's our kid. It's not her kid. It's our kid, So we have to be the one to do it. So just accept it and move on. And he is just struggling because he's not accepting it. So it's funny, but I really wish it. It's so crazy, but I wish someone had like given me the acceptance slap a long time ago, because that acceptance slap would have saved me a lot of money, a lot of heartache, a lot of time and trust and everything else. You know, like if someone could just slap me with the acceptance slap, like pew, just accept it, like pew, stop fighting, stop fighting it, stop going against the grain, stop, thinking that there is a different way. You can drink safely. You can, you know, drink, one at this time and one at that time, and you can control it, and you can do it at everything else. And as many times as I attempted, and as many times as I tried, no, I wasn't accepting it. And so finally, I had to get that acceptance slap, to tell me that yes, I am an alcoholic. I cannot drink safely. I cannot have one drink and be fine, because I'm just not. I'm not a normal person, not a normie, as we say, and that's okay, and I can accept that, because you know what? It's probably better that way. Because life is better without alcohol. Because all it does is just bring me problems. Alcohol has never given me $1,000,000 or given me the best job in the world, so I don't need it in my life. So, but it's funny. I hope everybody else gets some kind of acceptance slap, and they can accept that the light at the light that always turns green, then immediately back to red. I can accept that, because it's a terrible light and they need to change the timing on it. But you know what? I can accept that light has terrible timing. And I can accept the fact that, no matter how hard I try, the line's always going to be super long, and I just need to accept that. And whenever I go to the grocery store, I just need to make sure that I save extra time to stand in line, because it's always going to be super long. There's only going to be one cashier checking everybody else, and I just needed to accept it. So it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's a good pill to swallow, because once you can finally accept things, you're no longer having to fight against the grain, and the only person that's going to get hurt is me, because I am the one that's going to mentally beat myself up and mentally get upset and mentally be the one that's fighting against the grain, and I don't have to anymore. I can just accept things. And I'm not going to accept everything, obviously. There's some things in the world that I will not accept. Like, you are treating me badly, I will not accept that. Like, don't get me wrong, that there's some things that you cannot accept, that, obviously, but sometimes that you just have bad timing with lights, and you're going to hit every single red light. Just accept it. Tomorrow, hopefully you'll have good timing with lights and you'll hit all greens. Who knows? But it was a good meeting. I enjoyed my meeting last night, and I got to talk to my sponsor afterwards, and we got to go through the book, and we talked more about, the different versions of the book. And it's actually pretty interesting, because there's 4 different versions of the book, but it'd be cool to see like the original, like the first edition, to see like what the first, I think there was only like 6 steps in the first edition. So it'd be cool to see like what they actually wrote at that point in time, and then see the progression when they released the second edition, and then see the progression of when they took some stories out and then added some more into the third edition, just to kind of see like the difference and how it progressed throughout the years. But it'd be cool just to kind of flip through some of the older editions and see how the book has progressed. But it was a good meeting. Glad that I went. So I hope everybody else is having a great day. It's been a good week, and I will talk to you soon.